generally in the West, the impression is that whenever you sort of talk about Pakistani fashion, most people in the West have generally been exposed to just one narrative from Pakistan, and that's about war and politics. How hard is it for designers like yourself to convince people in the West that actually, there is this other side, and there are brilliant designers like yourself who want to sort of,
But more difficult is to work condition there. To work, there were strikes, there were political issues, there were bomb blasts, and especially we live in Karachi, so that more happens in Karachi. But in West, they highlight it more. Yeah. There are so much things also happening.
So you're saying that there is a lot of truth in that, but it's highlighted often more in the West. Tell me, when you talk about Pakistani fashion here in the West, do you often see this sort of reaction that people are slightly bit more skeptical about what you're saying?
Definitely they are, because they always have been portrayed a picture where it's all about the Taliban, it's all about people being covered, whereas that's just not the way it is over there. So I think the media is to be blamed to a certain extent, but now the West is also realizing that there's a lot of talent in Pakistan because of...
What is it like? I mean, when you talk about, the impression is that, women can't really wear the kind of clothes they want to, and there's a lot of cities in Pakistan where you simply can't dress like you want to. Is that true?
That is not true at all, and it's very, very liberating now. Women in Pakistan can wear whatever they want, and it's the men also who encourage their women. I mean, all of our husbands and our fathers, they've always, we are all educated, we all wear what we want, we go to parties. It's exactly how it is anywhere else.
Yeah. What would you say to people, who have this very stereotypical kind of impression of Pakistan about, women can't do this and women can't do that? I mean, I can see we're surrounded by a lot of women from Pakistan, wearing some of the best costumes, some of the best clothes from that region. What would you say to people who are sort of are stuck in that sort of stereotypical?
Well, I'd reiterate what Amna's been saying. Just that there is obviously a part of the country where you may not be able to do that, but of course there's still a majority of people who can wear what they like, and it exists. The fashion industry itself exists, and I think just the fact that it's just coming into its own and it's sort of blossoming, and we're taking fashion abroad, and our industry itself is growing so much. I think that is just sort of evidence of the fact that it's there.
Absolutely. I mean, what she's saying, there's a lot to there's lots going for it. The Pakistani fashion industry. Tell me, reflect for me a bit about that.
Well, Pakistani fashion industry has really boomed in the last 10 years or so. We've got a huge wealth of designers doing all sorts of stuff: Western wear, men's wear, children's wear, couture, Pret, everything. It's all there. They're doing jumpsuits, they're doing capes, they're doing coats, they're doing everything.
Okay, lovely. Lovely. And just to conclude, and this is a game that we usually play on Out of England. When I say the word Pakistani fashion, what's that one word that comes to your mind? Okay, and you're not allowed to repeat anything that's already been said before. I'll start with you. Tell me one word that comes to your mind when I say the word Pakistani fashion.
Evolving.
Okay.
Exciting.
Okay.
I think individual, very individual.
Booming.
Booming. Fantastic. So on that very note, what's that one word that comes to your mind when we say the word Pakistani fashion? You can tweet me at @r_joggy, or you can send us your feedback at ndtv.com. Here we are talking about sort of, the global appeal of Indian fashion. I want to ask you, Anita, I say the word stalwarts, and you definitely, you are a stalwart when it comes to Indian fashion. But one of the big, points that a lot of people tell me whenever I talk about Indian fashion abroad is that it appeals generally to people from the Asian community, from the South Asian community. How do you then kind of take it to people who are not from the community?
I think that's up to each designer, because some designers are very content just designing for the Asian woman, and I think some designers are looking at a more global appeal to their collections. So I really think this is designer to designer, what he or she wants to do.
And you in particular, what is it that you do to sort of, broaden the appeal?
I like to create clothes that are contemporary, that can be worn by women anywhere in the world, but then has some part of India in it. So it could be India textile, or it could be Indian embellishment. And that's what I enjoy doing.
I mean, we've been talking about Indian fashion going abroad and all of that for lots of years now. But it hasn't really reached the kind of scale that a lot of people would have liked it to. Do you agree?
Well, the thing is,
I don't know why that is happening, but I feel like foreign brands are backed by a lot of private equity companies. Whereas Indian designers, I think they have a lot of talent, but sometimes they just don't have the right push. And I think that's what the difference is. But I also think that the Indian designers...
Should they go to a B school? Should they go to business school and learn some tricks of the trade?
Well, I don't know. You'll have to ask the Indian designers about that. But you know, the thing is, I think that right now India is getting recognized. I mean, look at Rahul Mishra. He just won the International Woolmark Prize, right, 2013-14. And then I think Indian fashion is also getting recognized in a way because you have a lot of foreign designers or foreign brands pretty much kind of taking a lot of stuff from India. Like there was the Chanel Paris Bombay show, which was 2012-13. Karl Lagerfeld looked at
that
India.
sort of exchange between the two countries. Yeah.
Exchange. I mean, the thing is, before Chanel, I mean, there are lots of designers who I modeled for who did a lot of similar styles and designs that was showcased in the Chanel show, but it only kind of came out in the open when Chanel did it, which I don't think is really fair because I'm for the Indian designers.
And Reena, tell me, I mean, when we talk about stalwarts and we talk about, you know, real giants in our industry, you're definitely one of them. Should your peers be taking business lessons? Should they be taking going to B school? You know, because we've talked about this for many years, but it still hasn't hit the kind of scale that we'd like it to.
See, if you expect Indian fashion as is to become like a global phenomenon alone, it would probably be difficult. But by way of having its influence right now, I think Indian fashion has come a long way. The very important thing Nina pointed out is about private equity or brands growing. But if I take lessons from my colleague right here, Anita Dongre, I think the big market we have is domestic, is our own home market, which recognizes the value of fashion for India worn by the Indians.
Talk to you a bit about this actually. I mean, is there a sense of frustration with many people in India that, you know, people abroad just don't get it? I mean, they just don't get Indian fashion. Would you say that?
No, see, fashion is very cyclic. It's very driven by trends. So there will be, when there was a shawl wave, everybody had a pashmina shawl. Then it came to the kurti, everybody did the kurti. Then, the Indian gypsy skirts came on. So it's really about the trend. So when there was a sari, I had Naomi Campbell and other beauties like Nina wearing the saris, and some of them were wearing them all over. So it's very faddish, it's very driven. So we become a bit what they call costume or Indian fashion or Asian fashion. So as and when the requirement is, we will be there. And I feel we're very supported. On the other hand, I don't feel resented. I feel we're very supported by our Asian communities all over the world, and there have been times, many times we have tested that for ourselves. Not only they come out, they support us, they really open their hearts, homes, and bring in their friends. They enjoy wearing the clothes, they carry the messages, so it's not just the models on the runway, it's the real people.
And that one thing that you feel you can learn from Pakistani designers, one thing that they do differently better than Indians, you think? There isn't anything like
that. No. It's not true. I think there's great work in Pakistan, and I think it's they wear them more than us, I feel, personally, and there's a difference in their styling. So whether it is the shalwar, the leg wear, or these new styled kurtas, or now they're wearing the capri pants, they carry their own kind of trends by wearing them. They wear them more than us, I think. I feel we wear more Western wear, or we have a mixed wardrobe. Well, the Pakistanis are wearing more shalwar kameez or whatever those.
Their clothes are a lot more flowy and long length, while Indian fashion is a bit more structured with saris and churidars, and so there is a bit of a difference as well with.
And Anita, one tip to fashion designers from across the border. What would you say to Pakistani fashion designers? One tip.
Just keep doing all the great work you guys are already doing.